Hello everyone. In this video I am going to tell Bhagavad Gita shloka number 6.47, the last shloka of Bhagavad Gita chapter 6, Dhyana Yoga. In the previous shloka, Lord Krishna told that a yogi is better than the ascetic, greater than the empiricist and the fruitive worker. And he told Arjuna to be a yogi in all circumstances. Let us begin with this shloka. Yoginam api sarvesham madgatenantaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yuktatamo mataha. The meaning: Yoginam, of all yogis, api, also, sarvesham, all types of, matgatena, abiding in me, always thinking of me, antaha atmana, within himself, Shraddhavan, in full faith, Bhajate, renders transcendental loving service, Yaha, one who, Mam, to me, the Supreme Lord, Saha, he, me, by me, Yuktatama, the greatest yogi, Mataha, is considered. The whole meaning is, and of all yogis, the one with great faith who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself and renders transcendental loving service to me, he is the most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all other yogis. That is my opinion. The word bhajate is very significant in this shloka. Bhajate has its root in the verb bhaj, which is used when there is need of service. The English word worship cannot be used in the same sense as bhaj. Worship means to adore or to show respect and honor the worthy one. But service with love and faith, which is especially meant for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is called bhaj. One can avoid worshipping a respectable man or a demigod and may be called discourteous. But one cannot avoid serving the Supreme Lord without being thoroughly condemned. Every living entity is part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and thus every living entity's duty is to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Failing to do this, he falls down. This is also confirmed in the Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.3. Yayesham purusham sakshad atma prabhavamishwaram na bhajanti avajananti sthanat brashtaha patatanyataha. Which means, anyone who does not render service and neglects his duty unto the primeval Lord, who is the source of all living entities, will certainly fall down from his constitutional position. In this verse also the word bhajanti is used. Therefore, bhajanti is applicable to the Supreme Lord only, whereas the word worship can be applied to demigods or any other common living entity. The word avajananti, used in this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, is also found later in the Bhagavad Gita. Avajananti mamudaha. This means, only the fools and rascals ignore the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. Such fools take it upon themselves to write commentaries on the Bhagavad Gita without an attitude of service to the Lord and without any knowledge about the Bhagavad Gita. Consequently, they cannot properly distinguish between the word bhajanti and the word worship. They think both of these words are the same. The culmination of all yoga practices lies in Bhagavad Gita. All other yogas are but means to come to this point of bhakti in Bhakti Yoga. Yoga actually means Bhakti Yoga. All other yogas are progressions toward the destination of Bhagavad Gita from the beginning of Karma Yoga and to the end of Bhakti Yoga is a long way to self-realization. Karma Yoga, without fruitive results, is the beginning of this path. When Karma Yoga increases in knowledge and renunciation, the stage is called Jnana Yoga. When Jnana Yoga increases in meditation on the Super Soul by different physical processes and the mind is on him, it is called Ashtanga Yoga. And when one surpasses the Ashtanga Yoga and comes to the point of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, it is called Bhakti Yoga, the culmination of devotional service. Factually, Bhakti Yoga is the ultimate goal, but to analyze Bhakti Yoga minutely, one has to understand these other yogas. The yogi who is progressive is therefore on the true path of eternal good fortune. One who sticks to a particular point and does not make any further progress is called by that particular name of yoga. For example, if he stopped at Karma Yoga, he is called a Karma Yogi, and if he stopped at Jnana Yoga, he is called a Jnana Yogi, and if he stopped at Dhyana Yoga, he is called a Dhyana Yogi, and like that we have Raja Yogi, Hatha Yogi, and many more. If one is fortunate enough to come to the point of Bhakti Yoga, it is to be understood that he has surpassed all other yogas. Therefore, to become Krishna conscious is the highest stage of yoga. Just as when we speak of the Himalayan mountains, we refer to the world's highest mountains, of which the highest peak, Mount Everest, is considered to be the culmination. It is by great fortune that one comes to Krishna consciousness on the path of Bhakti Yoga to become well situated according to the Vedic direction. The ideal yogi concentrates his attention on Krishna, who is called Shyama Sundara, who is as beautifully colored as a cloud, whose lotus-like face is as effulgent as the sun, whose dress is brilliant with jewels, and whose body is flower garlanded. Illuminating all sides is his gorgeous luster, which is called the Brahma Jyoti. He incarnates in different forms such as Rama, Nrsimha, Varaha, and Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he descends like a human being as the son of Mother Yashoda, and he is known as Krishna, Govinda, Vasudeva, and many more. He is the perfect child, husband, friend, and master, and he is full with all opulences and transcendental qualities. If one remains fully conscious of these features of the Lord, he is called the highest yogi. This stage of highest perfection in yoga can be attained only by Bhakti Yoga, as confirmed in all Vedic literatures. यस्य देवे परा भक्तिर यथा देवे तथा गुरौ तस्यैते कथिता ह्यद्धाः प्रकाशन्ते महात्मनः. This means only unto those great souls who have implicit faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master are all imports of Vedic knowledge automatically revealed. This is from the Shvetasvatara Upanishad 6.23. Bhaktirasya bhajanam tad iha mutropadhinairasye namusmin manah kalpanam etadeva naiskarmyam. This means bhakti means devotional service to the Lord which is free from desire for material profit either in this life or in the next. Devoid of such inclinations, one should fully absorb the mind in the Supreme. That is the purpose of Naishkarmya. This is from the Gopala Tapani Upanishad 1.15. These are just some of the means of performance of bhakti or Krishna consciousness, the highest perfectional stage of the yoga system. Thus end the Bhakti Vedanta purports to the 6th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of Dhyana Yoga. Thank you for watching, and I will tell the next shloka in the next video.